Hello, everyone, and here I am back as promised to speak again about allowing my hair to go to its natural color of silver, brown, grey, whatever it's going to be. I'm not 100% sure, a bit of a mix, I guess. So, in my last video, I had said that I had hoped to go for a consultation or to talk to some hairdressers about the best options. So Niall Colgan, who is a very established Limerick hairdresser, invited me in to have a chat with him. You may have seen that come up, those of you who follow me on Facebook. So I had a consultation with Niall last Friday, and I also on Thursday, I think, and his colour specialist was also there. So one of the options that I had hoped to look at in this process was the possibility of dyeing my hair grey, as I was really hoping not to have to cut my hair. Anyway, that's an absolute no-no. I was told that almost immediately, that because I have a full head of highlights, there's so much color already in my hair that putting in more color isn't an option. So Niall came then and he chatted to me about various different styles, and the idea that we've come up with really, I suppose, is that I'm going to start cutting it very gradually. Um, I suppose because I have a fear around cutting it, I'm just going to start off with a little bit and then a little bit more, maybe a little bit more. And eventually I may have the courage to go short. I'm not 100% sure about that yet, but I'm certainly willing to take off a certain amount. And he said, like, the better we have it looking, the easier this process is going to be. So I have an appointment tomorrow afternoon. Now, it's been a very interesting time since I made that appointment because I'm just going through so much with this. And I suppose it's challenging me insofar as that I am a spiritual teacher who talks about letting go of our ego. And here I am really caught up in my ego self. Um, I was at a meeting with Clive during the week, and there was a girl sitting in front of us with really long dark hair, beautiful hair. And I had this really, I suppose, pang of sadness for what was. I'd had long dark hair, I suppose, when I was young, and you don't appreciate it when you're young. You don't appreciate the things about youth. And this real feeling of loss and fear of being unattractive, fear of looking old, fear of not liking myself in this transition, all sorts of things coming up. And even it's going, to my clothes as well, which I might share about in another video. But just this week, even I was wearing a pair of ripped jeans, and I was kind of thinking, am I too old to wear these jeans? I wasn't quite sure. And then I was in a boutique and I was looking at clothes and I was thinking, oh, they all look too kind of old for me or too womany or something. And so it's this place where I don't feel particularly young, but I certainly don't feel old. And it's really important to me that my hair and everything about me represents that feeling of being comfortable in my skin. And I suppose right now I'm not 100% comfortable in my skin. I feel in this sort of transitionary place. Um, and there was resistance to it here as well in my relationship. So I had mentioned to Clive that I was going to get my hair cut, that I'd come to this decision, and that I discussed it with Niall. And Clive had a reaction to it, for those of you that don't know, my partner. And not a strong reaction, but enough of a reaction. And we talked about it. And he said, obviously, I love you, and I love you no matter what your hair is like. But he said, I do love your hair long, and you've already cut it. So I'm respecting, I suppose, that fear, because Clive has a lovely beard and I love it. And I suppose if he was to tell me he was going to cut it off, I'm sure I would have a reaction. So I'm perfectly free to do whatever I want. But I am bearing in mind that Clive does enjoy this bit of hair that's there. So for that reason, I'm not going as short tomorrow as I had intended. I'm just going to take it up a little bit and as Niall suggested, just tidy it up and have some sort of a bit of a chic looking style. Now, what I will say is I'm a very low maintenance woman when it comes to my hair. I wash and I leave. I don't even blow dry it. I never have. And I think that's why it's in reasonably good condition, actually, is that I don't put any sort of, tongs or hair straighteners or any of those things near it. And I intend to stay like that. I like the low maintenance thing. So for that reason, I will probably be going for some sort of a bob or something. We used to call it a bed head look in the 80s. I don't know if maybe they still call it that. I don't know. But it's important that it's low maintenance for me. And it's important that I still look like I have, kind of a good bit of hair. So even if it's up here, that there's sort of plenty of hair around my face. And you never know, I might get the courage to eventually go a bit shorter. I've about 6 weeks regrowth now, and it's really coming in. There's still quite a bit of dark hair, it's kind of interspersed, um, but it's starting to appear. And so, whilst I'm feeling this real fear as well of looking older, I'm also sort of enjoying it, and I think I said that in the last video. I'm curious to see what it's going to be like. And of course, I wish I had a magic wand and I could just have it now, have a look at it, and decide is it staying or is it going. My feeling is it's going to stay once it does come. Going to all this effort. They reckon it's going to take about a year to grow out, and I don't know what length it'll be at that stage, if that makes sense, but that it will take a good year, well, definitely to get rid of all this. I'm lucky my hair grows fairly fast, so I am grateful for that. And there was, oh yes, I was in Nina today. This was interesting. I was in Nina today, and I'm finding myself telling everybody. And that's this fear. It's like in anticipation, just in case you're noticing how bad my roots are, I want to tell you that I'm letting my hair grow out. And I feel a bit silly about this, but it's what I seem to be doing. So I was in Nina today and I said it to these two women. And, one of them had such a strong reaction. She said that her sister had let her hair go grey and she looked so old. And she knew another lady and she looked so old that she dyed it again. And of course, this isn't what you want to hear. I really want to rock this grey when it comes in. That's what I'm hoping to do. Um, but it's just interesting again, this thing of people's reactions. And I spoke to my beautician, and she was lovely and really supportive. I was getting my eyebrows done the other day, and we had a really long conversation about hair and just how our crowning glory, I suppose, as we call it, but how attached we are. And you know what? I think if I had a lot of money, I would shave it off and buy one of these fab wigs, an expensive wig of real hair, and I would use that while my hair was growing out. I think that to me feels like the easiest way of doing it. Um, but I don't have the money for a really expensive wig, so I'm not going to be doing that. Anyway, tomorrow is haircut day, and I will be posting after it in the next few days and let you know how I'm feeling. As I say, a little bit nervous, but there's always something refreshing about a haircut as well. So it's out with the old and in with the new. So I will keep you updated and post it. If you like this, please hit the like button and subscribe to me. There will be more menopausal videos, just talking about various different aspects of things that have come up for me in during the menopause that might help you. Okay, thank you. Bye. Namaste.